YouTube. Okay. Okay, we're live on YouTube, and now we're going to record. So Tammy, can you record from your end? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, great. And now, okay, we're live on YouTube, and now we're going to record. So I forgot this about YouTube. Okay, great. All right. Hello and welcome to the grand prize celebration for the Blues Jam Harp Camp. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Wheel of Names, and we're going to choose from the people who actually completed the entire Blues Jam challenge. And this was a really, really hard challenge. But because there's so many of you here, we are also going to choose one person after that to get a riff prize. So that there will be two prizes today. There will be the grand prize and then also the riff prize. So before we start, this celebration is happening on the eve of when the next quarter in Hip Harp Academy is opening up. And Tammy, you're admitting people as they come? Okay, great. Thank you. So this is on the eve, and I just want you to know what that means for people who are already in the Academy and who are people who are have just joined the Academy and who are thinking of coming in and who are coming in, is that on Mondays, we have a live coaching session. We actually have two live coaching sessions, one at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and the other at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have two because we have a lot of members in Europe and we have a lot of members down under in Australia and New Zealand. And so we have two times to make it possible for everyone in the Academy, unless you're in China, and that makes it hard. Anyway, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so we've got those two times, and you get to come in, and I'm going to kind of show you what happens at one of those. We affectionately call them chats. And before I tell you that, I always like to give everybody something to be playing while I'm talking, because that's one of the beauties of being online and the fact that you are, we can't hear each other. And it's also because there's something that happens when you're playing something and you're not really thinking about it and trying to do it right, but you're exploring it, and maybe some little accidents happen that you love the sound of. So what I'm going to give you today is what's called a snippet. And these are things that I share at every chat in the Academy and every office hour. They are a little improv idea that will open you up for discovery rather than specifically learning something. And so a snippet, as I've been preparing for next weekend, which is I'm going to be at the Somerset Harp Festival. And there's some really fun classes that I'm doing, including cartoon music and expanding, vamp expanders and stuff like that. I'm also doing a whole day workshop on modal improv magic. And that's the grand prize that I'm going to give away in a minute. And one of the things that I discovered that made me so happy, I just fell in love with this, is the Mixolydian Mode. And this beautiful little snippet that opened up. And what it is it's G, D, G, just a G, D, G, and then C, F. So I like to think of this in terms of patterns. So G, D, G, that's just a G with its fifth, which is D, and then a G. Your harp is in the key of C. Your whole harp is just in the key of C, but we're going to be playing in the Mixolydian mode, which starts on G. So you play G, D, G, then take those top two fingers, the D and the G, and take them down a step to C and F. Now, if you just do them individually, it's okay. But when the harmony all comes together, what did no? Okay, all right. So there was a magic that happened when I put them together. Put them together any way that works for you. If you can't do it fast, it doesn't matter. But notice what I'm doing. I'm playing it, then I'm playing a melody. I'm playing this pattern and I'm playing a melody. I'm playing the pattern and I'm playing a melody. I'm playing the pattern and I'm playing a melody. G, D, G, C, F, and a melody. G, D, G, C, F, and a melody. G, D, G, C, F, and a melody. And it becomes magic when I play it. I'll slow it down. You have plenty of time. You don't even have to play all the notes. But once again, it's G, D, G, then C, F. G, D, G, then C, F. Notice I'm not looking at the melody notes I'm playing. I'm just looking at the pattern. Just looking at the pattern and letting myself play it. What is the easiest way for me to play? Then I'll show you what I learned about melodies. But for now, play whatever is easiest for your fingers. Easiest for your fingers. Let your fingers do the playing. What's easiest for you? Easiest for your fingers. Now I'm just playing a low G. Notice that for me, when I noodle, I almost always only use 3 fingers of my right hand, and yet that's plenty. And I let my fingers dance in whatever way is easy for them. This is Mixolydian. This is Mixolydian. It's very happy. Let's do that just a little bit more. So I've got G, and my harp is in the key of C, but I'm playing, my focus is on G. G, D, G, C, F, melody. G, D, G, C, F. Let's do that 8 more times. You're playing a bass note, some kind of accompaniment, and then a melody. It's a G, D, G, C, F, then a melody. G, D, G, C, F, and a melody. 4 more times. 3 more times. 2 more times. Last time. Now, in the class, I'll actually be, what I discovered is that there's a progression where I can use the Mixolydian like we did, and then I can go down to the Lydian, and then to the Dorian, and then I come back to the Mixolydian. So I can put them together, the Lydian. And then this D, it's almost like a dominant, but it comes back to this. So what I wanted to show you is the snippet, and to see like kind of what you discover when you have one thing that you keep going back to, and it's almost a meditative way of exploring and discovering. Now in the blues challenge in the camp, we were using the Dorian mode. This is the Mixolydian mode. You can mix the modes together. You can mix the Mixolydian mode. And in a second, I'm going to show you a pentatonic scale that will open up each of the modes. But before I do, I want to know what you just discovered by playing that one pattern, because it's all about the power of pattern. What did that pattern open up for you, if anything? And I'm going to go to the chat to see. Oh yeah, these are things. Cool. Now, Harmony says that was awesome. Are you talking about the Mixolydian thingy thing that we just did? The snippet? And this is what we do. This is one of the live things that we do in the Academy that really, it really comes out of what students asked for. And we just have, and then Yoka, are you still cataloging those, or have you taken a break on that? Because for a while you were cataloging them.
I'm still cataloging in
wow.
writing, but I don't have the time to put it in my computer, for I have so many requests now for making arrangements, and I'm a big Mozart.
Okay. Well, maybe we can. Okay, well, maybe we can create a team with you so that somebody else can put it in the computer, because that was amazing. Yoko had taken on actually putting all these snippets into the computer.
I want to do it, but I have.
Look, I totally get it. Marguerite says, what does Lydian spell? I'll show you that in a second. Annie says, my favorite mode, but I need to get in a cold shower. Beautiful snippet, peaceful for my soul, says Fern. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to show you one more thing about this mode. And wait a minute. So when we were learning in the blues, well, if you took the class, you saw that we used our key of C, but we were playing in D the whole time. And we were using a pentatonic scale. So I'm going to show you the one that you can use in the Mixolydian as well. Yes. Like I said, it gives a kind of relaxed MIDI feel. Each mode has its own feeling. Like the Dorian mode, like and if you find progressions, you can kind of unlock just a way into them. All right, but let me show you the pentatonic scale that kind of unlocks the Mixolydian mode. Just for the purposes of what we're learning, you can use exactly the same pattern. Again, the power of pattern. The power of pattern lets you take something you already learned and put it in a new place to unlock another kind of learning. So in the blues challenge, you learned this pentatonic scale. You put your right thumb on D, you put your left thumb on G, you put your right thumb on D, you put your left thumb on G, you put your right thumb on D, you put your left thumb on G. Then you built a pattern a step and a skip. So down from your D, D, C, A, and then G, F, D. And you built a pentatonic scale that way. And that opened up the blues for you. You put your right thumb on D, you put your left thumb on G, then a step and a skip with both, and you have from the top D, C, A, G, F, D. You already learned that pattern. Let's take that pattern and move it to G. So your right thumb's on G and your left thumb's on C. Your right thumb's on G and your left thumb is on C. I'm going to put this up here. Right thumb on G and your left thumb on C. Then a step and a skip with each one. So you're using this shape. You got to step. So top note, next note, skip the next one. So G from the top, G, F, D, C, B, G. And there you have it. This is the pattern we were playing. It's hard to play them together, but you can. That is a pentatonic scale that opens up that particular mode. You can do that on each of the modes. Although I discovered that in certain modes, it's kind of fun to shift around and start your pentatonic scale on another note. But can you see how that pattern that we learned on the blues, we can take that same pattern and move it down to G. And it really, really opens up the mode. Now, in the past, people would teach modes by saying, okay, this is a mode of Ionian. This is the mode of Dorian. This is the mode of Phrygian. This is the mode of the Lydian. But you can't really hear it that way. But if you put that pattern in, you can really hear. If we do it on C, you really hear that mode. We put it on D, D, C, A. We're familiar with that because we've used it for the blues. And we start to have, then we can build blues from that. If we start on E, we have the Phrygian. Although I discovered that you can also start on B, and it's really cool. Anyway, okay, this is what I'm doing on Sunday at Somerset, and this is the grand prize, so I'm just showing this. And then, so we can do it on E, we can do it on F, and that gives you Lydian. We do it on G, and it opens up the Mixolydian. We do it on A, and it opens up. It opens up the Aeolian, and we can also do it on the Locrian mode, although you may not want to. Sorry, because it's a little bit of a weird mode. So that same pattern, the power of pattern, opens up all the modes. And that's what we're going to do on Sunday. So we will open up the modes, and then we'll actually learn to improvise on those modes. Okay, any questions about that so far? And do you guys get what, so whoever asked about, oh, Lawrence has raised his hand. Lawrence, come on up here. You have a question or you have a statement? Oh,
yeah, I've got a question. It looks like what you were doing there is you were playing a pentatonic scale in each mode. Is that what you were doing with the right and left hand patterns?
That's right.
And I'm trying to figure out that it sounds really good. It's very interesting, but how did you come up with the idea of a 5-note scale in each of those?
That was, okay, so I came up, well, the pentatonic scales are well known. And the first thing that happened is I discovered that it was easy for harps, for lever harp, it was easy to play harp. It was easy to play blues if you were in the Dorian mode. I discovered that about 2 years ago. And then I discovered that if you use a pentatonic scale, all your notes are going to sound good. So these are just safeties. And then it was in a chat just a couple of weeks ago. I was like, whoa, wonder what would happen if you did, or maybe it was alone. But anyway, what would happen if you did this on each and every, all the modes? And I was like, oh my God, it opened up each of the modes in a way that I had never heard it done before. So it was purely by discovery, by doing this one thing. Oh, that leads to this. Oh, what if I take that pattern and move it here? Oh, what if I take that pattern and do it here? So it's this patterning is like a really big thing for me. So it's not, I don't just teach it, but I live by it. Does that help explain that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good, great. I can't wait to explore it more because it's all new for me. It's been amazing to prepare this. Okay, let's see what your questions are. This is so cool. Good. Yes, Mixolydian, liquid and refreshing. Thanks. Yes, I know. Well, I'm learning all about this, and I am learning in the academy just like everybody else learns in the academy. That's what's so powerful about it. We're each learning at our own, wherever we are at, because we're all asking questions. When the members of the academy ask me a question, it opens up for me. Or when I'm thinking about how am I going to teach something, I learn it from using the same principles that I teach you in the academy. That is how I learn as well. Because from my experience is what I teach you in the academy, if you apply it, you will learn everything. It doesn't matter where you start. You will learn everything because it's a way to discover. It's just like it's kind of like a microscope. Like a microscope is going to make anything larger, or a magnet is going to make anything larger. It doesn't matter if it is. When you have the tools, Deborah, they will start opening things up for you. No matter.
All right, yes? Deborah, your video is you're skipping. Your video.
Oh, okay. Skipping? Well, I'm not sure what I can do about it. Yeah, let me just check my. I'm not sure what I can do about that. But
okay,
thank you for telling me.
I'd check with you.
Okay, sure. Is that happening for everybody? That my video is skipping? Is my audio that is my?
No, the video is skipping and the audio as well.
All right. Well, in that case, let us go directly to picking prizes. So you know what? Since mine is skipping, Nix, how about if are you able to do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, great. So let's go for the grand prize first. So these are people who completed the entire camp, all the riffs. And Nix, I'm wondering if we should just. Oh, Nix, you're going to share your screen. Okay, right.
Yes, I'm going.
You may need if you need a minute. That's fine. Oh, great. So this is Nix. Nix is a harpist and is in charge of operations at Hip Harp Academy. And Nix created this, okay, don't touch it yet. So this is the grand prize. These are the people who completed every single one of the riff challenges. And some of them have 2 entries because they also did the extra credit one. And what am I going to announce? We can announce the ones that we already, Betty's asking the ones who drew last week. We can announce those again if Nix has them. We're going to pick one more from last week and we're going to give all the prizes away next week at once. All right, so is everybody ready? A hush falls over the crowd. And then Nix is going to hit this to spin, and I hope it's going to do all the fun things that it usually does. And so, do you want to hit it to spin, Nix? And it started. And the winner is Kristen Berry! Yay! All right, is Kristen here perchance? If she is, she gets another special thing as well. You're here! you get me. I will draw you a badge as well. Let's have you up for a second. All right, great. Let's have you up. I'm going to add the spotlight. So, Kristen, what were some of your biggest takeaways from doing the whole camp?
I had so much fun. I had been sick for a couple of months, and your blues camp was what kind of got me over the last hump and back to playing my harps. So it's been just an absolute blast. I was able to draw in a friend of mine that plays the harp that's somewhere east. I've never met her in person, but she also plays the harp, and she came with me, so we got to talk about it, and that was fun.
That is wonderful. And now
I love you can just sit and play it for like forever and not get bored. It's been wonderful.
Thank you for saying that, because that is one of the things that I love about improv. Yes, you can sit and do it for hours because you're discovering and discovering and discovering. And you, Kristen, are now the proud winner of coming to the special full day modal improv. Now, I'm assuming you're not. Are you going to Somerset live? Okay.
No, I can't travel.
Okay, no worries, because you can attend via video. So you will be able to be there live. You will also be able to get the replay. And anybody who did not win, I'm going to ask Nix to put in, or Tammy to put in, a link to where, yes, you're the winner.
I'm so excited. You have no idea.
Yeah, I know. I love winning stuff. That's great. Good. And you get a special badge. So that's great. Okay, so I'm going to draw you a badge. It will be one of my drawings. So let's see. I think I'm removing you. Okay, great. All right. So for anyone who didn't win, it doesn't mean you're a loser. No, because you can go, and Nix has just put, or Nix will be, or Tammy will be putting in the link how you can actually come to this Somerset full day of modal improv magic, where you will learn all the modes, and you will learn to improvise on all the modes, and you will learn to do it in a meditative style. You'll learn a little bit about blues, you'll learn a little bit about jazz, but you will have all those modes under your fingers after Sunday. So I hope you will come. And now, because it's just so fun to have prizes, let's modal improv magic. Yes, Nix is putting the link in now. You can join. This is really unusual. Normally, Somerset doesn't, you can't always get in. It used to be that you had to be at Somerset in order to get to one of these full day things that I'm doing, but you can join it now. I encourage you to join it now, because if I do give this class again in the future as a one-off, it is going to be far more expensive than what it is here. They give you a really great price for that full day. Okay, so next, would you be willing to run one more prize with everybody in it? And this is for a $10 gift certificate. Also of, what is it to anyway? Is it to Starbucks or is it to Amazon?
It's Starbucks unless you don't have one for some reason in the area.
Right, unless you don't have a Starbucks. And also a link to my my essential collection, essential DHC collection, which is it's basically my best of all the CDs that I've ever done. It's all my favorite cuts. So that's a double CD. All right, so let us have some glissandos. Everybody can gliss. Here are all the people who took part. And so go ahead and spin that, and we'll find out who's the winner. We'll find out who's the winner, and it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning, it's slowing down, and the winner is Alexandra. Yay! Beautiful. Okay, great. All right, Nix, thank you so much for setting that up. And we also have Tammy here, who is the Academy Administrator. All right, so I told you that yes, congratulations. Is Alexandra here? Okay, great. So that's great, beautiful. Oh, Mona's on her way here. Okay, great. Okay, so let's go back. Is there any, I told you I would give you a snippet. I told you that I would tell you about the improv magic. I told you that I will tell you what's happening in the Academy starting tomorrow. I'll tell you that in a second. And I told you that I would give you the pentatonic scale. Is there anything else that I didn't tell you? By the way, I'm just thinking about, like, this is what's so great about live, because you can actually ask questions. All right, so let me talk about what's happening starting tomorrow in the Academy. This quarter is all about the power of pattern. We're going to focus specifically on 2 patterns because they're so powerful. One is the blues. If you were in the blues jam camp, you already learned a little bit about that. And you learned how to play a blues along with a playback, which is really fun. In the Academy, you have many blues to choose from. So the first time you go through people are often in the Academy for several years. It's a year-long Academy. You sign up for your first year and you go through and you get your basic fundamentals, and sometimes that's all somebody needs, and they're off and running. Sometimes they still want to be back in the Academy. I'm the kind of person who's going to want to stay in the Academy forever because it's spiral learning, and you're learning the same basic principles of improv. They're always the same, but you're learning them at a deeper and deeper level. So if it's the first time that you've ever taken the class, you will likely want to go through the class the way we set it up. There's an actual class the way we set it up. If you've already been through the class the way we set it up, then there's several other options that you have. One of them is this very cool thing called Blues by the Dozen, where you can learn a bunch of different blues. And you could spend the summer doing that. What you learn is that you learn how to take that pattern that you played to, and you learn how to create all kinds of different bass lines. You learn how to create a slap bass. You learn how to create a stride. So when I talk about these, I'm not really talking about notes so much as I'm talking about a physical technique. A slap bass, it gives you a certain sound. It's also a really easy way to play bass lines once you get it that sound wonderful. A stride means that you play your bass and you jump up and you play your accompaniment. So there are always 3 roles in music: bass, accompaniment, and melody. Rhythm lives in all of them. You may not be playing all of them at the same time. When you were in the blues jam camp, you were just playing melodies. You weren't playing accompaniment. You were not playing bass. You were doing what a flute does, and which is great. In the Academy, you learn to also do all the other parts. You learn all kinds of different bass lines. You also, you learn a boogie woogie bass, so on and so forth. You learn, so that's another thing that you learn. You learn the boogie woogie bass. You learn other different patterns. Then you learn different ways of accompanying. Like you'll learn how to, one of the things I learned when I was first learning blues was to, so you're just learning these different techniques that it's just fun to know them. But you really learned a lot about melody so that you'll be able to apply melodies to all of those. You'll learn how to play blues in some different keys if you take the Blues by the Dozen. So you can go to the next step. So Yoka, you've already been through the blues class once. So I would encourage you a couple different things. It depends on what you want. If you're if you're crazy busy with a lot of other things this summer, which it sounds like you are, you may want to do something very simple, like choose just 2 blues to really focus on. And you may want to choose one, like, for example, we have a meditative blues that's just really beautiful. Now, that may sound very complex, but it's just because the chords are extended. They're all actually really easy to play. and you learn them. That's one of the things that you learn. So that may be one
Where
thing.
can I find that? That is what I want to do. Yeah, it's great.
I know. Well, it's in there. It's in one of the lessons. When you come to the first coaching session, just ask, and we'll see if we can find it. I know it's there. Or you might even just want to go and if you go into the academy and you do a search for meditative blues, it might bring it right up. So that's yeah.
In the chat when you're ready.
So that's one of the first things that I would suggest you do. And even if that's all you did, because you've got so much else going on this summer, you might just want to work on that, especially because you love to read poetry with music. And that could be a really beautiful blues to recite poetry with. And that would be plenty for this summer if you've got Mozart and everybody else, breathing down your neck. So that's what I would recommend for you. The other thing, so we have two classes that are really focused on the power of pattern. The other one is VAMPS. It's called Summer Harp Jam. Yeah, it's called Summer Harp Jam, but it's all about VAMPS, because VAMPS are all about jamming. So in that class, it's got all these little tiny, they're really like snippets in a sense. They're kind of like what I just taught you, except they usually have more larger progressions. So it might be C, A, F, G, VAMPs are really fun to play over and over again, and they help you get a rhythm when you play them day after day. And once you have them in your hands, you can use them as introductions and interludes, and they're gonna give you freedom, and they're called VAMPs. They're called VAMPs. You don't have to do them with rhythm. You could do them meditatively. They help you learn to noodle. You could become a master noodler. That's something you could do this summer. You could become a master noodler. I should give master noodler certificates. So Yoka, that's what I would suggest for you for this summer, if that sounds good to you. Good, wonderful. Okay, let me see.
Excellent.
Well, this is a perfect example of there are so many resources in the Academy, and one of the biggest resources is me, meaning you can ask me questions like that. And I can say, oh, okay, what are you trying to do? Okay, well then use this or use that. And that's why it's so powerful to have all three of these things, to have the classes, the coaching, and the community. So the community are the other people, the other members all over the world. And one of the things that happens is that after every chat on Monday, I leave, but you guys get to stay there. And I don't know what happens, but I know you have a lot of fun together. And so that community is where you get to talk to other harpists about harps or about music or whatever you want to talk about. And then the other thing that we have each week is office hours, where you can come. It's just, I'm not teaching anything specific. You come and you ask questions. And that's one of the funnest things that happens. Okay, so let's see what other questions you guys have. It's so great to have you all here. Okay, oh, good. And yes, and you know what? I'm going to do that today as well. I'll leave at a certain point and I'll leave, if there are people from the Academy here, you can ask them questions as well. Sometimes it's easier to ask them than to ask me. Okay, great. Okay, good. So Betty's asking, okay, Betty's saying, I'm really picking up more the second time through. There's so much there. There's just no way. There's no, but what's great is that what's great about it is that I'll say something one way and then I'll say it a different way and then someone else will say it a different way. And by doing that, you start to get a real understanding of it. I know that myself, I always took classes at least twice and sometimes more. It just took me that long to get things out of it and to see what was there. Marguerite says, will there be a replay of this meeting? Yes, there will. Beautiful. And Tammy said, the Academy is beautiful for beginners. And yes, although I just want to say, if you are a beginner, you want to get a little bit of playing underneath you. I say that it's for fledgling all the way up to advanced. And that's true also for the modal improv magic. If you're just starting the harp, you may want, well, there's a really great class. I mean, Shelley Fairplay has Start Harp that starts literally for beginners. And we always were looking at her school as being able to prepare people for the Academy if you're not already a fledgling player. So, like if you just got your harp, you don't know how to sit and you don't know where the notes are, the Academy might be a little much for you. If you're one of those people who are like, I don't care, I just want to get there and I just want to see what you have to say, totally fine. But just know that being a fledgling, having at least a little bit, at least some wings is going to help you. And Mona said, we make lifelong worldwide friendships. Yes. And everyone helps each other. That's true. And it feels and is safe to share and find out how much you can learn. It's amazing. I'll always be here. Yeah. Me too, Mona. I mean, that is one of the most important things is the safety. Having a safe place to learn, a safe place where I am going to be looking at what you're doing and showing you what you are doing that you don't see, instead of pointing out what you are not doing. That's my job. My job is not to be, oh, like you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And blah. That is just not my job, because you've already got that in your brain. That's taken care of. My job is to say, stop, look what you did. Look what was beautiful about what you did. You may think you didn't do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I'm going to show you that you just did J and how amazing that is. And that's, that I've always needed a safe place, because there were so many times when I wanted to share something or I was learning something, and what I say is everything is born slimy. We don't learn. We don't come out being able to do stuff. And if somebody is only going to point out what's slimy, they're not going to see what's there. It's like a kitten. If you're like, that's not a cat. Cats are fluffy. That's slimy. Well, then you're missing the whole point of a kitten. And that's what I'm there to do, is to see that's a kitten. You just had a kitten. That's another kitten. That's part of what I'm there to do. So, are there any other questions, or is there anything that I missed that you guys asked about? Because I love having you in the Academy. I love the conversations that we have. I love the breakthroughs that I see people having. I love it when I see somebody like, oh, you mean I can just do this? And we're like, yeah, it's that simple. I love it when somebody says, hey, I just took this thing and then I moved it here and I discovered this whole other thing. And that's you discovering versus me teaching. There's a whole world between coaching and teaching. So interesting that people are coming in now. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, good. Are there any other questions? I'm just gonna do here. And is there anybody who's here who's in the Academy that just kind of wants to, oh wait, does the Academy also include info about the modes? So Harmony, the modal improv class is separate. What happens is Somerset is a separate festival. They invite me every year when they're open, not for the last, well, they invite me every year, and I create classes for them. And then about 6 months later, I usually create it again in the Academy. But if you want it now, you should definitely get it in Somerset. If I offer it through the Academy, everything I offer through the Academy is available to Academy members, but it's not going to happen for like 6 months. Rosalie just joined the Academy this week. Yay. Yay. Good. Beautiful. Okay, great. And that's other. Okay, great. Any other questions? All right. So before we go, I want to know what, and I'm going to, first of all, if you're in the Academy and you want to say something about it that you've just been dying to say, I want you up here. And for anyone else, we've been together for a week and a half, and I want to know what are you walking away with? What is the thing that you're walking away with? I mean, if you join the Academy, you're walking away with a whole new future. You're looking at a whole future of creative expression. But even if you didn't join the Academy yet, what are you walking away with that's going to open up your creative expression, whether you're in the Academy or not?
Can I jump in?
You may jump in, yes.
Great, because I am so happy. I never understood really the essence of blues, those kind of things. I didn't grow up with it. And this week I was starting with feeling, okay, but that's it's about. And I think there is much more to discover, but at least now I started to develop a little bit of love for the blues, a little bit of understanding for the blues. So yeah, for me, it was a great week.
So Yoka, what did you learn and understand about it that made you start being interested in it?
That it was not about knowing everything very, very, very quickly about scales and chords and things. I always thought you had to have an excellent knowledge of scales and chords and all those kind of things that as a singer you don't get, so I didn't have. And now I discovered it was not about that.
Okay, what was it about then?
I think it's more about the getting a kind of the feel, which I also miss, but now I know that it is. I hope I will one day get it more.
I feel confident that you will. I really love what you said about that at first you thought it was this complicated thing and you had to know all this stuff. And then you learned through the class that you could literally learn 5 notes, right? You could learn 5 notes and it would open up you being there. It's like it gives you entrance to the game. And then once you enter the game, then you start discovering more. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Once you're actually playing. Yeah, that's great. That is actually what I want to have happen with every single class, because there's always a pattern and there's always a really simple way to be part of it. And that's something that's really important to me, that we all belong, that we all have a sense of belonging. Because, you know, when I grew up seeing 2 things. First of all, I saw people on stage and that was like, you sit here and be quiet while I'm being amazing. So that wasn't that fun. And then there was the other part where it was like, okay, I'm going to play something. Here's a note for you to play. So I got to be part of it. And by just having that one note, and then I could expand and expand and expand, I got to be part of the music. And then the music became part of me. So that is what I am always wanting to teach, and not the other part of like, shut up and sit down and watch. Because that's just, I don't think it's fun. And Fern has to go. Okay, well, I will see you tomorrow. Okay, great. All right. Anybody else, as you're parting, so Marguerite is saying, I love coming at music from a perspective that is not necessarily logic based and perfect. That's exactly perfect, Marguerite, because that's what we're doing, especially this summer. It's the power of pattern, not the power of being able to figure it out. So I love you said that. Yes, Natalie. And I'm happy to answer any questions right now, you guys. And if you have to leave, totally get it. Yes, hi.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Hi. Good, how are you?
So I would never be able to type fast enough.
I got it, that's fine.
It'd be tomorrow. Anyway, so I came away from it this time with a couple of more new things than from the Baroque Flamenco Challenge. Although I've been immersed in Bach and the Busoni this week, so I'm back to Baroque. But anyway, what was really interesting, I had the wrist brace on for most of the challenge because of hand injury. So I had to kind of, modify and do some workarounds and stuff. And I'd take it off and I'd put it back on. But what was, I'm horrible about backing tracks. And and I know from having grown up playing music, metronomes, backing tracks, click track, all of that. I know the importance of it. And it's always one of those, I'll do that next time, or I'll record next time, or I'll play with the music next time. And what I realized, but as you already know, I'm a big improviser and like to compose. What I learned was when I had the background music going, it unlocked more improvisational, because you have that tendency, got to keep going, can't shut it off, can't turn, because I had that, from experience, you do it.
Right.
And you have to have the ear for the chord changes and then you just keep working with it. And I thought, okay, yeah, it's such a necessary tool.
It's really, it's really interesting that you're saying that, Natalie, because you're reminding me that this is part of the power of this summer is that Summer Harp Jam is all about, it's these very small chord changes and repeating and repeating and repeating and playing with others because I'm playing throughout it. And that, you're right, that is what keeps you going. And that is what has you start improvising rather than stopping and fixing. And it has you going on and getting fluency. And I'm glad you said that about the chord changes, because if you're playing jazz and there's very complicated chord changes, it's hard at first to really be free. And that's why the vamps that we have this summer are so great, because it's like a little part of a complex tune, and you play over and over and over and over again, and it's beautiful on its own. So yeah, that's right. That all opens it up. And I love that you were able to play with a backing track, because then you're getting the experience of listening while playing, not listening to yourself, but listening to the music while you're playing.
Yeah, I can just by.
That's great.
Good.
Well, I'm glad.
I mean, I do it when I play with other people. I don't play harp with but having played other instruments with other people, I know to do that and to listen.
That's right.
The signals and everything, and
right,
just kind of, do what. But being so new with her, it's like, okay, and I know, just don't stop, just keep going and
right. That's great. That's great. And you're reminding me that there's a whole sort of third stream of people who are learning in the academy, and that's people who are musicians on a different instrument, and advanced musicians on another instrument, and now they're just starting the harp. And that was actually how the snippets began, because Melinda, who's a flute player, came in to play the harp, and she was asking for little tiny things she could improvise on.
Yeah.
So thank you. Now, did you have a question?
A question?
Or you were sharing what you got out of it?
And then the whole connection, not perfection thing. Like originally, I got the connection through music with other, but kind of piggybacking off of what you just said, connecting through music, which is my takeaway from it. But also this time around, I'm understanding that, since there isn't a big harp community where I am, I wish there was, that there's a lot of connection because of music with this community, and which is just beautiful. And I love that. And
I mean, thank you for pointing that out, because that's another thing that people get a taste of in the camps or the challenges, is what it's like to actually have a community, because we don't all have a community near where we are. I would say almost none of us do have it in that way. And that is also what's so rich about having that in an academy, where it's okay to be exactly who you are. You're learning what you want to learn, and you're meeting people from all over the world, and then you feel like you can talk about it. So I'm so glad you mentioned those things, because I can forget, because I'm like, oh yeah, of course we meet every week, no problem. But I realized there was a time when that didn't happen.
yeah,
So good.
that was it. And thank you so much for doing these, because I wouldn't have the resource otherwise. So that's it.
Good. Oh, I'm so glad you were part of it. That's great. Thanks, Natalie, and thanks for jumping up and saying something. Okay. All right. Well, Marcella says Syracuse has a good community, but that's about an hour away. Right. Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, well, and I'll just read a couple more things and then I'm off. Heidi says, I had no idea the harp could do these wonderful blues sounds. Yes. And to see the beginning keys to improv explain so much, it's attainable. Yes, it is attainable. Yeah, that's makes me happy to hear you say that. And Margarita said, I love coming at music from a kind of, a perspective that's not logic-based and not analytical. Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful, great. Okay. Joan says, DHC and the Academy experience seems to unwind us from our preconceived ideas of what we can and cannot do with our harps. That's beautiful. And then we feel as if we can, as if we can retie ourselves in a beautiful music bow. Joan, I love how you use words. So beautiful. So welcome to everyone who's just joined. For everyone who hasn't joined yet, I invite you for all the reasons that you heard today. And I'm so glad that you had a wonderful time in the camp. And I can't wait for those of you who are going to be in the improv class at Somerset. And I will bring all of that in bits and bits to the Academy. Okay, everyone. Bye-bye. I'm going to leave this open. I'm going to make you the host, Tammy. So in case you have other questions, you can certainly, you can certainly ask Tammy or anybody else here. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Hopefully tomorrow, for those of you who are in the Academy, first chat is at 11 a.m. Eastern, second chat, 4:30. Come to either, come to both, and we'll get started. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Everyone, thank you.
Great. We had a good group today. You can unmute yourselves now.
Hi, Tammy.
Hey, Nancy, how are you doing today?
Fine, but my computer threw me out.
Oh, no. Well, I'm glad you got back on.
Well, here I am, but I'm still trying to figure out how to get back on my computer.
Oh, no.
Yes, that's what I say. Oh, no. That was wonderful.
That was good.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if my mic's working.
Is that Marguerite?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're working.
Okay, thanks. This is the first time I've used this tablet, and I had to do all the setup, and I had some of the setup wrong initially. So thank you for trouble checking that for me once it's unmuted.
No, you sound good. Now, is that an actual background behind you or a virtual background?
No, that's where I live.
Oh, nice.
That's beautiful.
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 Well, that's just because I have it aimed right. You can't see my mess of fiber stuff and everything.
Ooh, fiber stuff.
I think we
is
all
fun.
have that. That's why some of us have curtains behind us.
It's 106 here in Oklahoma. I'm in the house with air conditioner on.
Oh yeah, Vegas is sweltering.
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh yeah. We actually had rain for the first time in I don't know how long the other day, so our humidity has gone up. For
Oh,
Vegas, you know. Probably nothing compared to where everybody else is at, but
Where are you?
Las Vegas.
Ah,
Oh, Sally, who's usually here, is from Las Vegas as well.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
I'm
even
in
hot up here in New York.
Natalie, I'm with you on this is Jeff. I'm with you. I'm from Antlers, Oklahoma, and I mean, I didn't even know that. I mean, I found a harp teacher here, which was a miracle, you know. But I don't have no. We don't. Me and her both don't have no place we can go to class, you know, for advanced classes. It's just terrible.
Well, I had, because this is how things go in Natalie land, I had a teacher and she was close to my age and we probably could have been just great friends. And well, a teacher who was lined up for me. Here we go. I went into a music store for something totally unrelated. And it's sort of a story here. Wonderful girl, lots of